Welcome to STEM Education with Olufemi. I'm excited to have you join me on this mathematical journey where we make complex concepts simple and accessible. Our channel is dedicated to making STEM topics, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, easy to understand for students and beginners of all levels. Today's video has a special objective to provide you with a comprehensive introduction to geometry, one of the most fundamental and beautiful branches of mathematics. Geometry is everywhere around us, from the shapes in nature to the buildings we live in, from the art we create to the technology we use every day. In this video, we will explore fundamental geometric concepts, important terms, and key equations. Everything will be displayed clearly on screen to help you follow along and take notes. Whether you're a student just starting your mathematical journey, or someone looking to refresh your knowledge, this video is designed to make geometry accessible and enjoyable for everyone. What exactly is geometry? Geometry is the fascinating branch of mathematics that studies shapes, sizes, positions, and properties of space around us. To understand geometry, we must start with its most fundamental building blocks. These are the basic elements from which all geometric figures are constructed. First, we have the point. A point represents a specific location in space. It has no length, no width, and no height. It has no dimensions at all. We typically represent a point with a small dot. Next is the line. A line is a straight path that extends infinitely in both directions. It has length, but no width or height. We draw arrows on both ends to show that it continues forever. Finally, we have the plane. A plane is a flat surface that extends infinitely in all directions. Think of it like a sheet of paper that goes on forever. It has length and width, but no thickness. These three fundamental elements, points, lines, and planes, form the foundation of all geometry. Every shape, figure, and geometric concept builds upon these basic building blocks. Angles are everywhere in geometry. They measure the amount of turn between two lines or rays that meet at a common point called a vertex. An acute angle measures less than 90 degrees. It's a sharp, narrow angle, like the corner of a slice of pizza. A right angle measures exactly 90 degrees. It forms a perfect corner, like the corner of a square or rectangle. An obtuse angle measures more than 90 degrees, but less than 180 degrees. It's wider than a right angle, but not yet a straight line. A straight angle measures exactly 180 degrees. The two rays form a straight line, pointing in opposite directions. A reflex angle measures more than 180 degrees but less than 360 degrees. It's the larger angle that goes the long way around between two rays. Understanding these 5 types of angles helps us describe and measure the world around us. From the sharp corners of triangles to the circular motion of wheels, angles are fundamental to geometry. Now we explore two-dimensional shapes, also known as flat figures, that exist on a plane. These shapes have length and width, but no depth. A polygon is a closed figure made up of straight line segments. The word polygon comes from Greek, meaning many angles. Each line segment is called a side, and where two sides meet is called a vertex. Polygons are classified by the number of sides they have. A triangle has 3 sides, a quadrilateral has 4 sides, a pentagon has 5 sides, and a hexagon has 6 sides. Now let's focus on quadrilaterals, which are 4-sided polygons. There are several special types of quadrilaterals, each with unique properties that make them useful in mathematics and real life. A square is a quadrilateral where all 4 sides are equal in length and all 4 angles are right angles, measuring 90 degrees each. Squares are perfectly symmetrical. A rectangle is similar to a square, but only opposite sides are equal. It still has 4 right angles, making it useful for many practical applications like doors, windows, and screens. A parallelogram has opposite sides that are parallel and equal in length. Unlike squares and rectangles, parallelograms can have angles that are not 90 degrees, giving them a slanted appearance. Finally, a trapezoid has exactly 1 pair of parallel sides. The parallel sides are called bases, while the non-parallel sides are called legs. Trapezoids are commonly seen in architecture and engineering. These two-dimensional shapes form the foundation of geometry. Understanding their properties helps us recognize patterns in the world around us and solve mathematical problems involving area, perimeter, and spatial relationships. A circle is one of the most important shapes in geometry. Every circle has several key parts that we need to understand. The radius is the distance from the center of the circle to any point on the circle. All radii in a circle are exactly the same length. The diameter is the distance across the circle through the center. It's exactly twice as long as the radius. The circumference is the distance around the entire circle. We can calculate it using the formula c equals 2 pi r, or c equals pi d. The area of a circle is the space inside the circle. We calculate it using the formula a equals pi r squared. Remember these key circle concepts: radius from center to edge, diameter across the center, circumference around the circle, and area inside the circle. These formulas help us measure and understand circles in mathematics and real life. Now we move from flat two-dimensional shapes into the exciting world of three-dimensional shapes, also called solids. These shapes have length, width, and height, giving them volume and taking up space in our three-dimensional world. Three-dimensional shapes are all around us. Unlike flat shapes, these solids have three important features: faces, edges, and vertices. Let's explore the most common three-dimensional shapes. First, let's examine the cube. A cube is a three-dimensional shape where all faces are squares of equal size. It has 6 faces, 12 edges, and 8 vertices. Next is the sphere, a perfectly round three-dimensional shape. Unlike other solids, a sphere has no faces, no edges, and no vertices. It has one continuous curved surface. The cylinder has 2 circular faces connected by a curved surface. It has 2 faces, no edges in the traditional sense, and no vertices. The curved surface rolls smoothly between the circular ends. A cone has one circular base and comes to a point called an apex. It has one circular face, one curved surface, and one vertex at the top where all the edges meet. Finally, we have the pyramid. A pyramid has a polygonal base and triangular faces that meet at an apex. A square pyramid has 5 faces, 8 edges, and 5 vertices. These three-dimensional shapes have 2 important measurements: volume, which tells us how much space is inside the shape, and surface area, which measures the total area of all the faces combined. Understanding these solids helps us describe and measure the three-dimensional world around us. Area and volume are fundamental concepts in geometry that help us measure space. Area tells us how much space a two-dimensional shape covers, while volume tells us how much space a three-dimensional object occupies. Let's start with area formulas for basic two-dimensional shapes. The area of a square is side length squared, written as A equals S squared. For example, if a square has sides of 4 units, its area is 4 squared, which equals 16 square units. The area of a rectangle is length times width, written as A equals L times W. If a rectangle has length 6 and width 3, its area is 6 times 3, which equals 18 square units. The area of a triangle is 1/2 times base times height, written as A equals 1/2 BH. For a triangle with base 8 and height 5, the area is 1/2 times 8 times 5, which equals 20 square units. Now let's explore volume formulas for three-dimensional shapes. The volume of a cube is side length cubed, written as V equals S cubed. If a cube has sides of 3 units, its volume is 3 cubed, which equals 27 cubic units. The volume of a rectangular prism is length times width times height, written as V equals L times W times H. For a rectangular prism with length 4, width 3, and height 2, the volume is 4 times 3 times 2, which equals 24 cubic units. Understanding area and volume formulas helps us solve real-world problems involving space and measurement. These concepts are essential in construction, engineering, and many other fields. We've covered so much ground in our geometry journey. Let's take a moment to recap the amazing concepts we've explored together. We started with the fundamental building blocks: points that mark locations, lines that extend infinitely, and planes that stretch in all directions. We discovered how angles measure turns and rotations, and explored the wonderful world of two-dimensional shapes like triangles, squares, and rectangles. We explored the perfect symmetry of circles with their radius, diameter, and circumference, then ventured into three-dimensional solids like cubes, spheres, and pyramids. Finally, we learned to measure space itself through area for flat surfaces and volume for three-dimensional objects. But remember, this is just the beginning of your geometry adventure. There's so much more to discover and explore in the fascinating world of mathematics. Practice these concepts, draw shapes, measure angles, and calculate areas. The more you practice, the more confident you'll become. If you enjoyed this geometry journey, please like this video and subscribe to STEM Education with Olufemi for more amazing educational content. Thank you for joining me on this geometric adventure. Remember, mathematics is everywhere around us, and with curiosity and practice, you can master any concept. Until next time, keep exploring and keep learning.